Hey, welcome to the first and probably should be the last of a new YouTube content. But it's not a podcast. I don't want to put it on a podcast, but it's a sports talk show kind of thing where I realized I didn't have any talent, so I did what other people without talent do: start a YouTube video. Yeah, and in this one, bare bones, I'm not putting any money into editing and putting graphics in, and everyone else does all this like interesting stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm pretty much just your annoying uncle at the holidays that wants to talk to you about sports while you don't care. So today it's Thursday, January 8th, 9th, I don't know. Penn State just lost to Notre Dame in the college football playoffs. What am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about that? About how Penn State kind of let that game slip away from them? No. Am I going to talk about the upcoming NFL wild card and the firings? No, not this episode. This episode, I'm going to cover the thing that everyone's been talking about, the Fox Sports 1 lawsuit, which sure everyone just loves it. Well, I'm going to get into it a little bit. And I'm going to break it into two parts. This part is going to focus on Joy Taylor and the issue that everyone's missing. The next part, I'm going to talk about Skip Bayless, because Skip is such a terrible person, in my opinion, that he deserves his own thing. So what's involved in this? Well, Ms. Faraji, who is the plaintiff in this case, well, she's suing Fox Sports 1, their president or vice president of content, Charlie Dixon? Mr. Dixon. I'm just calling him Mr. Dixon or Dixon, whatever. Every time I think of Charlie, I'm like, am I getting that name right? As you see, I did not do a lot of research. Where I think of Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead, and I think of a dude with a crossbow coming after me. I'm like, I don't need that. And the allegations that Joy Taylor did. So Joy Taylor isn't named as a defendant, but there's allegations of her conduct at Fox Sports 1, and I just wanted to go over this and what the mainstream sports media is not really covering and why, and it's just a weird why, and they're missing the point. So if you don't know, because I didn't know up until a couple days ago who Joy Taylor was, because I don't watch Fox Sports 1 and ESPN for their takes, because their takes are garbage. They don't actually give educated breakdowns of stuff anymore. They just pound the table and yell at you and you're an idiot and this and that and hot take. And I can't stand it. It drives me insane. Literally, I just want to rip my hair out when I watch that stuff. So I don't watch it. So I had no idea who Joy Taylor was. So Joy Taylor is actually the sister of Jason Taylor, the famed, did he make the Hall of Fame? I don't know. He's a very, very good defensive player for the Dolphins for a long time. So she was working in Miami as a bartending, and she had a radio show. She moved to LA to advance her career getting to TV. So she started working as Fox Sports 1 as a fill-in type of person, where she befriended Miss Faraji, the hairstylist for Fox Sports 1. Well, during this, she met Mr. Dixon, and who was the really higher up on Fox Sports 1. Now, allegedly, she started having an affair. That's the other thing. They're both married. Dixon, Taylor, both married. Taylor was newly married when she moved. So they started having, allegedly, an affair, and everyone is just glossing over this type of thing. I don't really care that much about the affair. People do what they do. My thing is what Taylor, the messed up things that Taylor and Dixon did, in that lawsuit, is they went out with their spouses to a dinner. Now, cheating on your spouse, I don't recommend it. That's a pretty low down, dirty thing to do. But it takes a certain level of person to take your husband on a double date with the man and his wife that you're cheating on your husband with. That is next level. You're being a dick at that point. Allegedly, if any of this happened. So, Mr. Taylor, I don't know his name, caught wind of the pretty much, this is the other thing. Don't ever do that, because dudes specifically, and I think most women, you can sense when your wife or your husband is doing somebody else, especially in a social environment. You're like, this is not a normal relationship. So they got divorced right away. Not right away, but he filed for divorce. Now, I don't know about if Mr. Dixon is still married. I don't know their relationship. It was an open relationship and he was allowed to openly cheat on his wife, allegedly. So that is what she allegedly slept with him to get the job on Fox Sports 1. And now when this is where it also gets dicey is then she started seeing Mr. Ocho, I believe Emmanuel. I knew there was two brothers. I don't watch these guys' stuff. Emmanuel, it was a Sam or Emmanuel. I believe it was Emmanuel. Started sleeping with him. And then when Miss Faraji talked to her about that, she pretty much said, hey, if he wants to have retribution against me for cheating on him, I'm going to Me Too him. Like, she was going to say that it was non-consensual, that Mr. Dixon forced himself on. That's one of the big things that the media isn't covering. It's like, that, if this is true, that should torpedo Joy Taylor's career. She should be done. Like, why would you want to work with somebody who would lie and ruin your career? Like, that would be, if she had to resort to that card, that would ruin that dude. He would be done. So the two things I want to break down is really Joy Taylor allegedly sleeping her way to the top, and how the first thing they're not covering is how this actually hurts women in positions of power or like aspiring, especially in sports, because it's an old reputation or representation of like, oh, she's only there because she slept her way there. Oh, she's only there because of this or that. Most times that's not true. But it has been done. It has been done. It has happened. I know women that are actually like decent level like managers, and they get this allegation all the time, and it drives them insane. But at the same time, they tell me about these other women that have done it, have slept their way up to a management position. And it's like, so Joy Taylor, by doing this, hurts every other female in the sports world. And now I know some of these guys are like coming out and like defending her and be like, oh, like Cam Newton was one. He came out and was like, well, what she allegedly did, that's none of our business. Everybody should shut their mouths, blah, blah, blah. Cam Taylor. Now I guess they got married, right? Cam took Joy's last name. But Cam Newton, people have short memories, I guess. Remember when the female sports reporter asked Cam Newton about running routes in the route tree? And he was pretty much like, what's a woman doing asking me about route trees? I think really she knew more than he did. But because of people doing this type of behavior, sleeping their way higher up, that brings the women that are actually trying to go higher on their own merit, that gives them like a side eye of like, yeah, are you really here because you know what you're talking about, or are you really here because you're sleeping with somebody? That's the one thing that this whole lawsuit, if it's true, hurts women in sports journalism, especially because it is like, I don't know why. I guess I know some women that are into sports, and apparently a lot of guys don't like when women are in sports. I don't know. I love a woman in sports. Like, I'm like, if you could tell me if the difference between zone man, I'm like, this is a very, like, if you could tell that they're running a zone defense because of this and then that, or you could tell me like about baseball or hockey. If you know more about sports than me, that's awesome. I don't feel threatened by that. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. But it does have the whole stereotype of like, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just here to be eye candy and make money. And that seems so it might be a little unfair to Joy, but because once again, never seen her content. I don't know. Does she, you guys who aren't going to watch this and aren't going to comment, does she know what she's talking about? Is she actually good at her job? And she just kind of like took the easy way of like sleeping and getting the job instead of like going against competition. But it hurts women in that arena specifically. But the other thing people aren't talking about is her plan. If Charlie Dixon wanted retribution because she was sleeping with Emmanuel Ocho, once again, Oh, allegedly. But she told Miss Faraji that she would tell them that it was unconsensual, that he forced himself on her, and it was against her will. That's insane. That is lunacy. And then that throws in all these other women that do get sexually harassed in the workplace, that do get, like, assaulted in the workplace. Like, her throwing that out there so callously, like telling her, like, was like, whatever, they'll believe me. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Just like take your lumps of like, all right, hey, he's gonna try to fire me. I'll sue him for firing me without cause. I'll do this. I'll go another place. It's like, you don't have to try to ruin a man's career. On the other end of that, this goes more to Charlie Dixon and dudes that do this. Charlie Dixon, I assume, is making a massive amount of money in his position at Fox Sports. A massive amount. Why are you cheating on your wife? Or if it's an open relationship, like, then you probably wouldn't have that issue of her cheating or anything. But let's just say it is an open relationship. Why are you allegedly cheating on your wife with somebody at work? Like, bro, Breonna Taylor. Oh, I called Breonna Taylor. Oh my God. Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor, beautiful woman, gorgeous. Like, okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration. She is very, very pretty. She's obviously leagues and leagues above me. Like, she and I don't look like we're the same species. Like, I'm a solid 1.8 and she's like, a 7.5. But she's gorgeous, like Midwest, like not out of like, she would be a 10 in like, Des Moines, Iowa. In Los Angeles, I assume people that look like Breonna Taylor. I did it again. Breonna Taylor. Oh my God. Oh, I apologize. Joy Taylor. Once again, this is the content. Is me just talking. I'm not going to edit this crap. Just be like, it's just your idiot uncle talking. Joy is very pretty, but Joy Taylor in Los Angeles is probably like average, right? She's not a super attractive woman by Los Angeles standards. Now, I don't live in Los Angeles. Maybe that's just something that's hyped up and not really real. But from what I've surmised, from what people say, it's like Joy Taylor is like an average attractive woman in Los Angeles. So if she's just like a dime a dozen in looks-wise LA, why risk your job, my man? Like, go. There are people out there that there are sugar babies or sugar, like whatever, the Instagram people that would gladly probably keep their mouth shut. You could step in and out, and not have to really worry about it. You could even like give them a fake, like, how much does your wife follow you around? Where I understand one reason you're doing it is because then you could be like, oh hey, yeah, it's at work. But dude, like, come on, man, why are you gonna ruin your career for that? Get it somewhere else. You're capable. You have millions of dollars. But that's what with Joy Taylor that nobody's talking about. You have all these people just glossing over the details of, hey, yeah, it's the private thing. And she did what she did, yada, yada, yada. That's not the case. That's not the point. That's not the point of it. The point is her setting women back to be selfish, to bring herself higher up when she doesn't really necessarily deserve that. I mean, maybe she does. Is she good? Tell me, is she good at her job? I know I'm not good at this right now. I'm terrible because I'm just talking to a phone. So that's what they're missing out. It's like, I don't really know a lot of sports commentators right now. Mina Kimes is one of the biggest ones, and she's kind of divisive. I like Mina Kimes. I feel like she kind of she knows a good bit about football. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I don't have any problems with a female commentator or a female sports announcer like some people do. But the people that are kind of against it, this type of shit is what reinforces their negative stereotypes. Like, that's why it should be like really harped on. But the people that are out there, like, I don't want to say simping because that's a bit extreme, but the people out there that are defending Joy Taylor, I'm like, yeah, because it doesn't hurt you. Because it's all dudes. Stephen A. Smith out there just being like, oh, this doesn't mean anything. You've got people making a big deal out of it. It's like, dude, it doesn't hurt you. This whole thing doesn't hurt your credibility. I mean, I think you play a character on TV, just like Skip Bayless and all these other people, Nick Wrights of the world, play a character for, hot takes to get people all riled up and shit. But it doesn't hurt your credibility. You know who it's going to hurt? The next female host, or the next female analyst, or the next female announcer. Like, oh yeah, she's there. It's like, perfect example. I saw WWE went to Netflix, right? I tuned in. I don't usually really watch wrestling that much. I tuned in just to check it out because I'm just like, whatever, it's on Netflix. And one of the opening shots was Netflix, 3 Netflix CEOs in the box seats. 2 guys and one attractive woman. And I didn't know she was a CEO. And then right after reading about this whole Joy Taylor thing, I was just like, now, is she a CEO? Did she earn it? Or is she sleeping with one of the other people that promoted her? I was like, because that's just naturally, after hearing this stuff, you start thinking, if you think you see an attractive woman somewhere in a position of power, this is what you were going to be like, oh, hey, what happened here? Like, 90% of the times, that's not the case. It's really not. It's like they worked hard and they worked their ass off and they deserve it. But it's the 10% of the time that they promote these people up, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's a selfish fucking thing to do, and they don't care because they care about themselves. But hey, that's just kind of my first video I'm going to put out, which is a rambling 20 minutes of really nothingness that most people were probably like, why did I waste my life watching this? Well, anyways, I hope if you have any comments about it, leave me a comment. I won't read it because I'm not going to read comments. I've got other things to do, which is, make more terrible videos, right? Well, so that's all that it is. I'll put up a second one, even though nobody's going to watch this first one, just so future reference, the aliens can be like, wow, these humans were really, really weird. So